Most people do see this as a good use of public money to restore something that's valuable to the local community.
The Makatu estuary was historically described as the food bowl of Te Arawa, rich with a variety of fish species. Now, after 4 decades of protests, campaigning and construction, the path to restoring it is almost complete.
In 1956, there was a decision made to cut the Kaituna River out to sea upstream of the estuary, and that was good for flood protection and drainage for the lands around here, but it wasn't so good for the estuary. So since then it's sort of half filled with sand. A lot of algae have grown up, and as a consequence both the shellfish and the finfish populations have diminished somewhat. So the objective of this project is to bring back enough fresh water to restore some of the health of the estuary. The first call for the river to be returned was in 1979, so it took a wee while, it took 2 decades for the negative effects of the 1956 works to be noticed in a big way, and so it's taken 4 decades for this project to come on stream.
Work began in June 2018 and is due to finish next week, 5 months ahead of schedule, with a public ceremony on February the 12th.
Probably the biggest development has been the creation of a new channel that extends 1 kilometre upstream from Ford Road here to divert quite a lot of fresh water into the estuary. That's so 60 metres wide, and then that water passes through 12 massive 2.5 by 2.5 metre squared culverts with automatic stainless steel control gates on them, and then inside the estuary there have been quite a few causeways removed to allow tidal and river flushing to recur as it did before.
In addition to a new man-made channel, new boat ramp and 12 culverts, the project also included the renovation of 20 hectares of salt marsh wetland for local birds. The culverts were tested last week to make sure they were working before the official opening on February the 12th. 9 out of the 12 culverts will open first, so the council can monitor the effects.
Consent conditions say that we need to monitor what happens after that for 12 months before we open all 12 of them, just to be certain that there's no unexpected negative effects that we haven't thought of. In the longer term, council has directed staff about 6 years ago to keep looking at ways of getting more of the river into the estuary, because of course this will redivert only a portion of the flow, about 20%. And that could be done, for example, in the future as part of some sort of coastal defences work or adaptation to climate change. But at the moment, this is the bulk of the work.
It currently takes 15 tidal cycles for all of the water in the estuary to be replaced from the river. But once the culverts open, that will be reduced to just 2.5 tidal cycles.
So the water will be replaced much more often, and that will increase the ecological condition and the cultural value of the estuary over time.
The total cost of the project is $16.6 million, which includes everything from planning and construction to 3D tidal modelling and the acquisition of 45 hectares of land. It's also taken some good old-fashioned teamwork to get the project over the line.
Well, the original group that tried to make this happen was called the Makatu Action Group, formed from tangata whenua and some of the members of the Makatu local community. In recent times, since the resource consent was granted, we've been working closely with 6 different Te Arawa iwi, and we'll be meeting with them about every 3 months in order to make this project a success. And they've been a big part of the planning, the implementation, and also the monitoring of results.
Gavin Ogden, Local Focus.